Hello, Sunday Adelaja here. Welcome back to our class on Africans and black people. Are black African people caste? Is anything wrong with black people, with Africans? Nope, not really. When you do a thorough study of history, you discover that no, nothing is actually wrong with us. It's just that the people who had the power and the control over history and colonized Africa, while they took advantage of history and they removed us from history, writing only about themselves. Now that, thank God, that a lot of Africans are becoming literate, we can now go into the history books and do the research and find the facts that have always been there. And some of these facts were recorded by white people themselves. So today I'm going to be talking about how Africans brought civilization to Europe. And I wrote a whole book on that. So if you don't have that book yet, you see it here on the screen, you can go get it. Well, are black African people cursed? No, they're rather a blessing to the world and to Europe especially. How Africans brought civilization to Europe. Now we will move directly to the contribution of Africans to European civilization. Let us begin with ancient Europe, where Africans brought civilization to as such. The first European civilization was founded on the island of Crete. It was called the Minoan culture in honor of Minos, the mythical king of Crete. So this is Crete, and this is the connection between Africa. You see Africa down there, between Africa and Mediterranean Sea. Then you see Cyprus, then you see Crete. You see Crete, you see Asia Minor, then you see Greece. So it is through Crete that Africans got to Greece and Europe. It was the first point of stop. But you also know that all these continents were together before. They were joined together, so it was easier at that point for them to be able to move over to that other place when the whole thing was still together. So ancestors of Cretans were a branch of Western Ethiopians originally from Africa. They lived on the meadows of North Africa until the region dried out and turned into a vast desert. Okay, so that's talking about where they're coming from. When the sons of the Sahara intruded into their homeland, they sailed into the sea and founded a coastal culture on Crete and other neighboring islands. British archaeologists, what we are saying is hypothesis, right? They could have moved before the land was divided, or they could have sailed after the land was divided. British archaeologist Otto Evans, the first person to prove the existence of the Minoan civilization, noted that the influence of culture came to Crete from the Libyan Sea, the part of the Mediterranean Sea, even before the start of dynasties rule in Egypt. So this was even before Egypt, when they had moved over there. This Oxford graduate was convinced that Africans had migrated to ancient Crete, and that residents of the Nile Valley had inhabited southern Crete, as indicated by many ties between them. Numerous marches found in tombs of Cretans and pre-dynastic Egypt inhabitants similar history. So historian Henry Hall, also an Oxford graduate, shared Evans' position and indicated that those Cretans that had sailed from the coast of Africa had brought seeds of civilization that evolved into the great Minoan civilization, a younger and more prominent, although less long-living sister of the Egyptian civilization. Okay, so this is the way that all looks. So Crete is the connection between Africa and Europe. He noted that not only similarities of material culture of the two states indicated ancient relations between Crete and Egypt, but also similarities of their religions, the double-axe religious emblem, the Cretan figure 8 shield, similar to the sword of Nate, the African goddess of hunting and war. These are all written in my book, How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe. So these are from that book. Worship of this goddess was linked to the matriarchal system of ancient Africa. And similarly, Crete also had the matriarchal system, particularly superiority of a female goddess and important position of Cretan women, as proven by their apartments in Knossos and images on the wall. Knossos in Crete, this is the archaeological discovery, the birth of the Cretan civilization. Archaeologist Ver Gordon Shield, commenting on the relationship between Crete and pre-dynastic Egypt, also singled out the Messara plain in the southern part of Crete as a place of spread of civilization from Africa. Forms of ancient Cretan stone vases, precision of stone engraving technique, and aesthetic choice of a variety of stones reflect African tradition. This is an original 1909 black and white half-tone print that depicts a fragment of a carved stone vase found in Crete, which features an Egyptian priest with an unpraised sistrum leading Cretan youths. Okay. Such religious customs of Crete as, for example, using a sistrum, an Egyptian musical instrument, wearing amulets in form of legs, mummies, monkeys, statues of the Egyptian Geze culture, personal habits and garments were originally characteristics of the civilization of the Nile Valley. So it's a similar culture, similar thing that is done in Africa is being done in Crete. During the rule of Egyptian monarchs, Kara, Hatshepsut, and Thutmose III, Cretans, whom the Egyptians called Keftui, were graphically depicted on tombs of African nobility as if bringing them tribute. Around 1700 BC, the Minoan civilization reached its peak. This region, managed by Cretan maritime rulers from the capital Knossos, became the cultural center of the entire Eastern Mediterranean. Yeah, that's their building. The main cradles of culture and civilization were so-called palaces, complex economic and political complexes, the largest of which were in Knossos, Fest, Zakros, and Tilis. None of the palaces had fortifications. Apparently, the islanders felt perfectly safe. So these are the palaces. Kings of Crete were accommodated at Minos Palace in Knossos. It was a huge 5-story building located on the territory of over 1,500 1.5 acres. The walls of numerous rooms were decorated with beautiful murals and mosaic showing a high level of art. You see, this is the Palace of Knossos. Amazing. A throne room, a chapel, storerooms, living quarters, and entertainment halls were located there. Minos Palace had bathrooms fitted with terracotta bathtubs and gutters. It was a real revelation for the archaeologists who discovered them. These gutters were constructed of tubes connected by couplings. This surpassed all the analog in ancient Rome that we know of. Moreover, till the mid-19th century, this level of sewage development wasn't surpassed. This shows us greatness of the African civilization. Europeans needed a long time to reach the same level. Crete was filled with attractive and cozy houses, well-equipped ports, and excellent paved roads. Seamen of Crete dominated the Aegean Sea and had flourishing trade ties with Egypt, Sicily, and southern Italy. Cretans had quality leisure activities like music, dancing, theatrical performances, athletic competitions, and other forms of entertainment. Social life was based on gender equality, as women had the same rights and privileges as men. So this is the art of Minoan civilization. Amazing. Unbelievable. Cretans owned registered trademarks, unified weight and length units, sophisticated calendars based on accurate astronomical observations, and a developed writing system. Their menacing navy cleared the region of pirates and robbers. In the middle Minoan period, the influence of culture extended to mainland Greece. A natural disaster of mid-15th century before Christ, the Minoan eruption, caused decline of the Minoan civilization, creating preconditions for the conquest of Crete by Achaeans, who were half-white Greeks. Using achievements of Cretans, Greeks were able to develop their civilization. The Cretan Mycenaean culture of the Aegean civilization. Native Cretans continue to play at least an important cultural role in Mycenaean Greece. These Greeks who took over the Minoan civilization became the first civilized people with white skin. As writer Joseph McCabe said, 4,000 years ago, when civilization was already 1,000 to 2,000 years old, white people were just a bunch of half-savaged on the outskirts of the civilized world. Now, this is a white person talking as well. Had there been anthropologists in Egypt, Crete, and Babylon at that time, they would have called white people an inferior race also, just like the white also call other people inferior today. Indeed, inhabitants of Crete, Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Western India were not white, but dark skin. The same is confirmed by anthropologist Reglan. Thus, we have been able to see Africans' primary role in the European civilization. What happened next? You will know tomorrow. So we will go ahead and show you a video now that will prove to you these things that I've read. And these things, like I said, are in my book. I'm reading just from my book there, how Africans brought civilization to Europe. But meanwhile, if you want to join my mentorship program, go to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship, or you could, if you want to read the books or buy the books, you could go to sundayadelajablog.com/books. If you need to if you want to come with us to Africa, you can also write sundayadelajablog.com/Nigeria. If you want to come for History Makers training, you could also, go to sundayadelajablog.com/HMT. So please go ahead and share this message, share, as we will go now to watch a video that will confirm the history. Blessings. See you tomorrow.
The ancient Egyptians lived in Greece and brought a high civilization in Greece before the Greeks came into Greece. See, the Greeks that are known today, or the people that are known today as the Greeks, came out of Bulgaria, Yugoslavia, Albania, Hungary, etc. into Greece at a certain time. But prior to that, the ancient Egyptians created a high civilization over there. They call that civilization the Mycenaean civilization. The Greeks and the Romans are one and the same. The Roman Greeks migrated into the country that's known as Italy, but the ancient Egyptians created a high civilization prior to these Roman Greeks getting over there, and they are calling that civilization the Etruscan civilization. These are names that are used to camouflage the true identity and the true glory and the true history of the ancient Egyptians. Etruscans, Mycenaeans, Minoans, etc., etc. Okay? With these names, they can attach all kinds of stories to it and write up certain things in books to take you away from the ancient Egyptians or the glorification of the ancient Egyptians.
All of that belonged to African people, so that's why those people is dark. The African was there first. The African ran Rome, the African ran Greece, and that's why you see that the two earliest civilizations of Europe are right there on the Mediterranean, because they were the closest to Africa. That's just it. So when they show you Greece and they show you a little pepperwood, it's a whitewash. It's a blackout. You understand? It's Africans all through. And if you go there right now today, it's still Africans there. You'd be surprised how many Africans is living in them southern regions. And some of them call themselves European. They might call themselves Italians. They might call themselves Romans. If they didn't tell you that, and you just looked at them, you would call them a nigger. Belong to African people, so that's why those people are dark. The African was there first. The African ran Rome, the African ran Greece, and that's why you see that the two earliest civilizations of Europe are right there on the Mediterranean, because they were the closest to Africa. That's just it. So when they show you Greece and they show you a little pepperwood, it's a whitewash. It's a blackout. You understand? It's Africans all through. And if you go there right now today, it's still Africans there. You'd be surprised how many Africans is living in them southern regions. And some of them call themselves European. They might call themselves Italians. They might call themselves Romans. If they didn't tell you that, and you just looked at them, you would call them a nigger.
They say the best education is self-education, nigga. Know thyself, bitch.
Alright. Today, we're going to start off with some documentation dealing with our African history. So what we do when we deal with Egypt was standard across the board. When we dealing with Africa, what is standard across the board is that all of the ancient world record that Africa was the source of all civilization, culture, technology, science, medicine, and documented across the board. Now, this right here is Diodorus Siculus. He's a Greek, lived around the 1st century AD. And he has some choice words about Africa that we need to take into consideration. Now, this is what he said. Now, for people who are not familiar with Osiris, Osiris was the deity or god of resurrection. He was the first documented deity, god, that had been crucified and rose from the grave. He says, he likewise addicted himself much to honey of elephants, and took care to have statues of himself in every place, as lasting monuments of his expedition. This passing to the rest of Asia, he transported his army through the Hellespont in Europe. Okay? Now, that is right around what you call Turkey, right between what they call Asia Minor, and then you got the islands in the Aegean, Ionia, and so on, and right up on the coast of what you call Greece. Okay, that's what he's talking about, into Europe. And Thrace, which he, I'm not going to get it, who he killed, the king of the barbarians who opposed him in his design. He then ordered Maro, at that time an old man, to take care of the planters in that country and to build a city and call it Moronia, after his own name. Macedo, his son, he made king of Macedonia. Now that's where Alexander come from. Okay? So even before then, it shows right there that the Africans had went over there and established Greece. Had established Greece. Okay? Wasn't no damn Greece. The Africans went over there and established that. Showed them how to plant. Gave them civilization. And then at the end, it said, to conclude, Osiris, having traveled through the whole world by finding out food fit and convenient for man's body, was a benefactor to all mankind. There it is. Okay, let us move on. See, you can't interpret history from the form. They'll tell you about the Silk Road, how they marched this shit all across. Goddamn it, we've been on the seas for the last 10,000 goddamn years. And so the brothers and sisters who took to the sea, see, that's where they began to organize all of these cultures at a very early date. The Arab is a usurper. The Arab comes from down here. They come from down there. Okay? The Mediterranean that we know of, Greece, Turkey, all of that, Africans control that. And it's documented that they control that. Herodotus talks about that Sesostris, the first, had conquered Turkey. They had conquered Greece and started Greece. Go get the Children of the Sun by Wells Parker. That's it. Go get that. That's a small pamphlet that'll give you some information. You don't even know that. You keep thinking that the Arab just got in them areas. Okay? Our people dominated all of that area. The whole Mediterranean belonged to us. Crete. Now when you see this, and see how it's coming down, civilization is going with the flow of the river. Now when you see it this direction, now you'll see why Crete is the oldest European civilization. The Minoan civilization. The Minoan civilization predated the Mycenaean civilization, which is the mainland Grecian culture. The civilization of the Minoan civilization. Okay? And a lot of the historians is saying that they believe that Egyptians fleeing Narmer, when Narmer came down there and unified Egypt, a lot of them brothers and sisters and foreigners who had to get the hell out, they fled down there. And they took a lot of African culture with them. They have found Egyptian writings all through Cyprus, all through Crete, All through all them islands down there. They got the damn evidence. They're not gonna tell you. They got them in their museums. And black people can't get a goddamn passport and get off their ass and go see some of this shit and document it for their family. Because most of that shit, as I'm studying, and you have to get off into Greece and into Rome, a lot of their emperors got that curly hair. Okay? And what does that mean? It's a mixture that went on. You can see somebody, maybe their mama was white and their daddy was black, or vice versa. You can see it might not be woolly wool like the purebred, but it's, you know, curly. Okay? And so a lot of them Roman emperors got their hairstyle. Okay? Now they'll show you that shit. Now I ain't gonna even lie, you know, a lot of light-skinned brothers in here would be a representation of a lot of what the types you would see in Greece and in Rome. But the black brothers and sisters was there too, the dark ones, because that's the only way you could produce the curly, the mixed breed. So they don't want to show you all that. You understand? They don't want to show you all that. The Africans was in the damn land. We dominated the whole Mediterranean. All of that. And the Egyptians had homes on the island of Crete. They say the style of their homes was the Egyptian style. That when they went in what they call this palace of Knossos, you can look it up. Man, it had an Egyptian statue of, I guess he was the governor, in the damn palace. They found the damn statue. And a lot of the graves were Egyptian graves. So y'all got to understand that Greece is some shit that just came about. That shit was an extension of ancient Egypt and Ethiopia. They was all in the land. Troy. Where was that fall? That was fall right over here in what you call Asia Minor, right around Turkey. Troy was in Turkey. But do y'all know, as y'all watch that movie, see, I got the text. Do y'all know that Pyram, who was, if you ever seen the movie, want to play, he golden boy all the time. Right. Brad Pitt. Yeah, and you understand what I'm saying? Then you got Hector, and his father was the king of Troy. But do you know the king of Troy, his brother was the king of Ethiopia? Because the Ethiopians sent out troops to help Pyram fight against Agamemnon. Okay? They don't tell you the whole story. This is Crete. This is Crete. But it shows that they have melanin in their skin. Okay? This is the Minoan peoples on the island of Crete. Deep, rich melanin. Okay? That's an African right there. There's no doubt about it. This is Crete. This is Crete. But it shows that they have melanin in their skin. Okay? This is the Minoan people on the island of Crete. Deep, rich melanin. Okay? That's an African right there. There's no doubt about it. So when they show you Greece and they show you a little pepperwood, it's a whitewash. It's a blackout. You understand? It's Africans all through. And if you go there right now today, it's still Africans there. You'd be surprised how many Africans is living in the southern regions. And some of them call themselves European. They might call themselves Italians. They might call themselves Romans. If they didn't tell you that, if you just look down, you would call them a nigger. The African ran Rome, the African ran Greece, and that's why why you see that the two earliest civilizations of Europe are right there on the Mediterranean, because they were the closest to Africa. That's just it. So when they show you Greece and they show you the little pepperwood, it's a whitewash. It's a blackout. You understand? It's Africans all through. And if you go there right now today, it's still Africans there. You'd be surprised how many Africans is living in them southern regions. And some of them call themselves European. They might call themselves Italians. They might call themselves Romans. If they didn't tell you that, and you just looked at them, you would call them a nigger. So when they show you Greece and they show you the little pepperwood, it's a whitewash. It's a blackout. You understand? It's Africans all through. And if you go there right now today, it's still Africans there. You'd be surprised how many Africans is living in them southern regions. And some of them call themselves European. They might call themselves Italians. They might call themselves Romans. If they didn't tell you that and you just looked at them, you would call them a nigger. Ran Rome, the African ran Greece, and that's why you see that the two earliest civilizations of Europe are right there on the Mediterranean, because they were the closest to Africa. That's just it. The African ran Rome, the African ran Greece, and that's why you see that the two earliest civilizations of Europe are right there on the Mediterranean, because they were the closest to Africa. That's just it. So when they show you Greece and they show you the little pepperwood, it's a whitewash. It's a blackout. You understand? It's Africans all through. And if you go there right now today, it's still Africans there. You'd be surprised how many Africans is living in them southern regions. And some of them call themselves European. They might call themselves Italians. They might call themselves Romans. But if they didn't tell you that and you just looked at them, you would call them a nigger.
And when you talk about Mediterranean people, we need to talk about that later on, because as I have said and tried to say, Africans don't all look alike. So some of what you're calling Mediterranean people are just some more Africans. Okay? So some of what you're calling Mediterranean people are just some more Africans. Okay? So some of what you're calling Mediterranean people are just some more Africans. Okay? So some of what you're calling Mediterranean people are just some more Africans. Okay?
Look at Bess in the Olmec calendar with his tongue sticking out. Bess was worshipped all over the planet Earth. In India, he was called Kali. In Greece, you can also see where he was used upon shields of the soldiers for protection. Again, look at the Grecian Roman with Bess above his head to give him protection. Why would these Europeans be worshiping black gods? Again, look at the Grecian soldier with Bess upon his shield for protection. Also look at the Egyptian cross upon the Greek shield. Again, the Greek with Bess upon his shield for protection. The great god Bess, the oldest god in the Nile Valley. Now, you see this? This is in Greece. This is a plate in Greece to show you best. That they was worshiping best also in Greece and in Rome. He was a deity all over the planet, family. You always see that tongue sticking out. You stay focused on these almond-shaped eyes. Even the way that the eyebrows is, it's always this way. You know what I'm saying? Never straight across, no shit like, it's always this way. They usually connect in the middle. And sometimes you'll see that dot. This is an image of the Nubians. And what you're seeing right here is industry. This is industry. You see the shields. The Nubians was creating all of this for ancient Egypt. All of it. See these shields right here? I want you to pay close attention to these Nubian shields. Especially this one right here. You see these animal skin shields, which the Nubians manufactured for warfare. Now, look at this right here. You know where they find this right here? They found this on the island of Crete. You see the shields? See the shields? See the shields? That's Crete. That's Crete. So it shows you that the Egyptian, Nubian, and many of them already knew it. Crete is the oldest civilization in Europe. Okay? So it shows you right there that Nubia and Egypt controlled the whole of the Mediterranean. Okay, when you look at the Greeks, what you see, the marble statues, that's the end of the damn civilization. Okay? They ain't gonna show you what's up under that at all. Because they trying to keep Europe to themselves. And so if they show you and make the connection of what I'm showing, they can't even climb Europe. You can't even climb Europe. That belongs to us. And so what a lot of people don't, they try to, pretend like Egypt influence was maybe up to what you call today Syria. And it might have went over to some part of Mesopotamia. But at the height of Egypt and Nubia, it controlled the whole of the goddamn globe. Period. Matter of fact, to be correct, that this wasn't actually on the island of Crete, but actually right here, Santorini. This is where and that's even further up into what you call the Aegean Islands. Even further up, okay, to show you the presence of the Nubian and the Egyptian. It don't stop there, because they got all that type of evidence even on the mainland, on both sides. Turkey, or what they call Turkey, and Greece. And if you read Herodotus, who was the father of European history, he will tell you that the Egyptians started Athens, started Greece. They started it. Many of the stories, even Helen of Troy, those are Ethiopians. Okay? If you look at the movie, Priam, who was the king of Troy, his brother was the king of Ethiopia. If you go read the text, and stay about the damn Hollywood shit. Okay? They're not going to tell you that. Now again, see, this is back to Santorini. This is, I'm going to hit back. That's right there. That's right above Crete. And so you can look right there and see the locks on the man's head. You can see the locks, that's a fro type of, when you first starting your locks off, how you got a fro and they sticking up. So you can see right there. This is the Minoan peoples on the island of Crete. Deep, rich melanin, okay? That's an African right there. There's no doubt about it. this is Crete. This is Crete. But it shows that they have melanin in their skin. Okay? This is the Minoan peoples on the island of Crete. Deep, rich melanin. Okay? That's an African right there. There's no doubt about it. Belong to African people, so that's why them peoples is dark. The African was there first. The African ran Rome, the African ran Greece, and that's why you see that the two earliest civilizations of Europe are right there on the Mediterranean. Because they were the closest to Africa. That's just it. And that right there comes out of King Tut's tomb. The shield with the leopard skin. Okay? 10 more minutes. And you see right there, the Nubians. No, those are the Egyptians. With the shield that the Nubians have brought down. Okay? And that right there is on the island of Crete. That's in Greece. That show you that shield that the Ethiopians had even went down into Greece. This is before the white man got there. See, he ain't there yet. See, they're already in those lands. That's the very shield that come up out of Nubia. Let me keep it. And so that right there is on the island of Santorini. That's right there down there at the bottom. A little bit above Crete is where they found that mural. Right there where you see those Ethiopian shields on that mural in Crete. Okay? And you see also the locks, the woolly hair. That's in Santorini. Okay? And that's 2000 BC. That's a Phoenician mural showing the locks. When you just let it go, it's going to automatically lock. You see? That's Bob.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Same hairdo. You know they Africans. No goddamn white man got no hair like that. Okay? And you see right there, this brother's out of Sudan. See them boxing? See they only got that one glove wrapped around. You see the Cretan? See they only got the one glove on. See? We ain't playing no games. We know we brought it there.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay, this is it. This is Crete. This is Crete. But it shows that they have melanin in their skin. Okay? And so I'm showing you that even though it may have been, quote unquote, a European type in the region, you can tell that this is some intermixture in these people, but predominantly African. Predominantly African. Now look, this is the Minoan peoples on the island of Crete. Deep, rich melanin. Okay? That's an African right there. There's no doubt about it. Because look at this, he cannot get that. Do you see this? It's on his deathbed. If this whole body got that dark, do you know what the hell type of, he would be in the hospital.
That's right. Yeah.
Period. Look at him. He's hurt.
Right.
He's hurting. If he didn't, that shit that damn dark, he's hurt. And he's laughing with his stupid ass. So, you know, the doctor did already told them that skin, you know, that sun tanning, is death for the white man. The doctors tell them that. But they continue to, because they know that it's only through the coloration that they have any type of semblance of humanity. without no damn melanin, how you know, and then you pale, and the beautiful skin of Africans all over the planet is glistening, and you know, you put the shade on it and it making it shine, you know what I'm saying? They can't stand that.
In the Valley of the Kings is the tomb of Rekhmire, a high-powered Egyptian bureaucrat. The tomb offers us a snapshot of the people who fell within Egypt's sphere of influence. The people of Punt, or Ethiopia, carry incense trees and animal hides. The Kushites from Nubia have ivory and gold. And this delegation is described as the people of Keftiu. But from what they're carrying, we recognise them as Minoans. We recognise them as Minoans. We recognise them as Minoans.
During that time of Roman dominance, Africans hold high military and administrative posts in the empire.
The Romans and the Greeks had no color prejudice comparable to the kind of prejudice we would know later on. Otherwise, why would 3 Africans become emperors of Rome? Why would there be 3 African popes?